100 gram.
Right, my name is Chelsey. I am from New Orleans East. The best.
East Beast, huh?
East Beast, born and raised.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your childhood growing up in the East.
Okay, so I grew up with all of my siblings. I am the middle child, thoroughly the middle child. I grew up with both of my parents in the same household. I went to high school in the East. I did everything in the East, basically. So I went to St. Mary's Academy. That's where I graduated from. That's where all of this craziness started.
All right, well, we're going to get into a little bit more detail about those things. So you said you did grow up in a two-parent household. How was that for you? Do you feel like that was a great advantage for you, or growing up with the family? You say you're the middle child, so you had a two-parent household. Like, how do you feel like that impacted your life today?
I definitely think that it had a major impact just by having two different perspectives, I guess you could say. My mom had one idea of what she thought was, cute, classy, and all of that, and then my dad always came with that edge. I am my dad's child. I am thoroughly my dad's child, so he just kind of kept that excitement, that rebel mentality that I have to always go against the grain. That came from my dad. So I do think that it was very beneficial to have both of them involved in my life and present in my life. They also both kept me on track. When I would go left, maybe one would agree with the left where I was going, but the other one always got me right back to where I needed to be. So that was definitely great.
All right. So how was your high school experience, even meshed with having that great dynamic with your family? Like, do you feel like your high school experience was easier to go through, the fact that you had somebody to keep you straight?
I'm going to say that honestly, my parents' opinions and their rules and regulations did not matter to me in high school. I went to St. Mary's. After Katrina, I came back, 7th grade I was in. So I went to St. Mary's up until 9th grade. 9th grade, I got the option of either continue to stick at St. Mary's or to go to another school. So I chose to go to Easton. I went to Warren Easton for 1 year, and I went right back to St. Mary's. I had too much freedom at Warren Easton. I didn't have any type of boundaries or restraints, and I just knew for myself that would be not good in the long run. Mm-hmm. So I decided to go back to St. Mary's, which I think was great for me. It taught me how to be a lady. It taught me, it instilled a lot that I needed just as a woman that I would not have gotten going to a charter school. So I do think that had a big effect on how I am now. And yeah, just being around girls, it's a little different.
What did you do when you graduated from high school?
So immediately after high school, I went to LSU. And I'm talking about summertime. I was just ready to get out the house. I was ready to be on my own. So I went to LSU. It was a great experience. I partied. That's all. I didn't go to class. I didn't do anything that I was supposed to do. I honestly I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time.
Like usual, like most people.
Yeah.
And they kind of just don't know.
I had no idea. Well, I had an idea. I wanted to be a nurse practitioner until I encountered a situation where I had to meet somebody in the hospital that he broke his neck and stuff. So he had tubes down his throat. And when I woke up, the doctors were on me. Like, I had passed out. So that's when I realized, I was like, okay, I can't do that. That's not going to work out. So I ended up dropping out of college. I am a college dropout.
Was that after the first summer?
No, this was after 2 semesters. I want to say I went for 2.5 years. So I tried to do something. But I was unhappy the entire time.
Okay. So yeah. What did you do following that, since you didn't want to do it anymore? You realized that. What led you to, what did that lead you to after that?
So after I dropped out of college, I was a waitress for maybe about another 2 years. Mm-hmm. And while I was making good money, I was working at a restaurant downtown in the French Quarters. It was great. I met a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But one particular day, I was just looking around and I realized how many older people I was working with that were on the same level as me. And really, I was running circles around them because I was making money. But they were like,
Content.
they were content. And I was like, I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of dealing with people with attitudes. I'm tired of dealing with smelling like food, fried food all the time. It's just certain things that I just was unhappy with. So that led me to find a hobby. I read something that says you should have a hobby that keeps you healthy, a hobby that makes you money, and a hobby that's just fun. So I was like, okay, well, I have something that's making me money. That's cool. I'm healthy. That's fine. But I'm not having fun with anything. So by me being so petite, none of my clothes fit. I've always loved fashion. I've always loved to look cute. But I could never really find the pieces that would fit my body type. So I started sewing. I had a sewing machine. My mama had a sewing machine, excuse me. It was collecting dust in the box. So I had time on my hands. I just ended up taking it out the box one day. And it sat there. It sat there for about a week and a half before I even started trying to play around with it. So a week and a half later, I started playing around with it, and it was very difficult. I had never touched a sewing machine before. I had done hand sewing type things, so I kind of had my feet wet with sewing, but I had never really jumped into it. So yeah, I just kind of jumped into it and started playing with the machine, figuring it out however I could. I didn't have any help. Nobody in my household had ever sewn before, so it wasn't that I could go ask people for help. It was just something to occupy my time. So that's where it started.
So how long ago was that?
That was in 2016.
Roughly 8 years ago.
Roughly 2016 or 2017, about that time.
7 to 8 years ago.
Yeah, about, wow.
You didn't realize that?
No, I didn't. Dang.
So what has been the progress since then for those 7 to 8 years? Like, how did you progress and keep on going?
I have come such a long way. So I come from not even knowing how to do a straight thread, a straight stitch, to making ball gowns. I make anything you could think of: ball gowns, bathing suits, t-shirts, pants, skirts, dresses.
All self-taught.
Everything, 100% self-taught. I've had the honor of working with a bunch of different celebrities. Yeah, I've worked with
name drop.
Kevin Gates, NBA YoungBoy. I've worked with Lizzo. I've worked with Currency. The list is continuing. I always encounter new people. I'm always open to working with anybody, no matter what it is. Working with those artists, I was actually working on set. That was, that's just kind of where I ended up. Somebody needed me on set, and I started working on set. So then that opened the door to continue to work on set, and that opened the door to work with other artists. So that's definitely
yeah.
an
I mean,
accomplishment.
that's great experience. That's great exposure as well.
Absolutely.
Towards being able to work with people like that, being able to work with just the whole system as well, and still do the job that you're learning to do and continuing to do. I mean,
Still learning, very much.
still learning. I mean, but just as we think about with doctors, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're always practicing. So keeping that in mind with us creatives and individuals in general, even business owners, it's the same thing. So that's nothing to be downplayed at all. So what keeps you inspired?
Just this world. I let any and everything inspire me, regardless if it's a conversation that I have with somebody, regardless if it's a picture that I've seen, regardless if it's a car that I saw driving up the street. There's inspiration everywhere. You just really have to dig it out. So I let everything inspire me.
Also, so what are your plans for the future, and what can we look forward to from you?
In the near future, I'm working with a bunch of different local brands who already have their brands up and going. I'm just kind of taking a piece of theirs and making it a piece of mine. So I'll take a garment that they have or an item, and I'll cut it up and make it something else. just to bring a little bit more attention to both their brand and to what I'm doing for myself.
Collabs.
Yeah, we collabing. You know, I feel like there's not enough of that in New Orleans, so I just kind of want to be one of the forces to like really push collabs. So that's in the near future. In the long run, I want to make ball gowns. I love wedding gowns, ball gowns, evening gowns. I just want a storefront of everything gowns. I love it.
Awesome. All right. Kind of move forward to just New Orleans itself. What do you feel like makes New Orleans New Orleans?
Definitely the culture that we have. I think is so authentic. I travel a lot, so I go a bunch of different places, and somehow nobody just has the hospitality, the vibe, just the liveliness that New Orleans has. So I definitely think that is a key point of New Orleans is the culture and the vibe that we have. It don't matter what we have going on, we're gonna have fun with it.
Facts. All right, so tell us about a unique New Orleans experience that wouldn't happen any other place that you enjoy.
That I personally enjoy. So when we have second lines and, you know, citywide events and things of that sort, I love how I could walk up the street and people kind of know what I do. You know, anywhere else I go, they don't really know what I do. But New Orleans people, they recognize fashion. They know what's going on. They know what you have on. They know where it comes from. So not even just with what I'm doing, my brand or my pieces. Any local brand in New Orleans, the people are gonna represent. And I just feel like that's one thing that we do have here is we will support fashion. So other places, I feel like it's really name brand stuff. It's really like, you know, luxury. Everything has to be Gucci, Fendi, you know, Prada. But in New Orleans, they will really put some stuff on with a local brand. So I love that about New Orleans.
So what would you, as the person you are today, the Chelsey you are today, what would you tell your younger self with everything that you've learned and been through today in the future as well?
I would say to trust myself. I knew more than I thought I knew back then. So to my younger self, I would definitely say just to trust my own gut instead of worrying about outside opinions or, you know, just outsiders. Don't worry about all of that. Trust yourself. Go with your move because you know what you're doing, girl. You know what you're doing.
So tell everybody where they could find you and be able to get in touch with you, even to get some of your services as well.
So right now you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is So That's Chels. It's spelled out SEWTHATSCHELS. That's all together. I answer DMs. I answer comments, all of that. If not on there, I have a business phone. It's 504-428-4204. You can contact me on there within reasonable timing. But I answer all of that. So
only in New Orleans.